Hello and welcome back to what might be a less exciting match, but still an interesting one nonetheless. We have V0LTA versus the Villore Accords. Villore Accords have brought a pair of Macarials, a Scimitar, a Fleet Hurricane, an Orthrus, 2 Moas, a Hound, a Vigil, and a Cruor.
Volta, on the other hand, bringing double Barges, Scimitar, Gnosis, double Jackdaw, double Hyena, Caracal, Flycatcher. Interesting that we see all these shield fleets all of a sudden once we head to the winner's bracket, while loser's bracket had all of these armor fleets. Kind of the bands interesting to look at Villore versus Volta. Who do you think is looking good right now, just looking at the basic team comp?
I really favor Volta. I'm not really a fan of the Shield Macarials. Shield Macarials only having 5 mid slots. You have to use a prop mod and then some utility. You don't have excellent resist. I think that Volta are going to use their long-range missile damage to break through those as soon as they break through the Cruors and the other support that Villore Accords have.
Definitely. I like Bargus a lot more than Macarials too. They're going to have a lot of damage. It's very smart, I think, for Volta immediately going for a Cruor, trying to put it down and stop it. I don't like shield Cruors very much, and the fact that that one just died is exactly why I don't like them. Once the ability for Villore to catch this kiting team that Volta has gets destroyed, it's going to be very difficult for them to apply any of that Mac damage.
Speaking, look at this kiting team. They've already got a Hyena, Web, and a Tackle on top of the Scimitar. They've got the Moas completely webbed at range. They're applying their E-War perfectly across. The Macarials are tackled. The Scimitar is already out of shields. He's ASB boosting, but he didn't start boosting enough. He's now onto his 3rd or 4th charge, and that Scimitar is just going to break. There's too much incoming rapid, heavy, and missile damage, and he's going to fall.
Yeah.
As soon as this breaks, they're just going to chew through the cruisers and the frigates on the field. Villore Accords is going to get completely taken out here.
Yeah, it's done. They kill the Cruor right off the bat, which is nice. They're going for the Vigil now. Moas are completely screened off, and Volta's team is just minus that one Bargus, who is caught down, trying to get away, but they are completely shredding the rest of Villore's team. So a little bit of misplay on Annie's Bargus side, but for the most part, Villore is just hemorrhaging ships. Mystical Might down for Hyena, but you know what? If I'm on Villore's team and I see pilots like Mystical Might and TikTok flying Hyenas, these two really high level, high skill cap ships, I'm going to be really worried. And like you said earlier, that Scimitar going down that quickly, webbed and painted, is just going to allow the Bargus just to headshot it.
Yeah, you've got high-tier pilots flying high-tier ships, so we can see that the Jackdaw is now into low shields. He's completely just a sliver of health and then falling.
Hyena Jackdaw down.
Still applying damage with that artillery on the Fleet Hurricanes, but they've lost an Orthrus for it.
Yeah.
Not a good trade.
I don't think so at all. That Scimitar is letting the support wing of Volta fall, because it is all reps heated on that Bargus that got caught and webbed and grappled by one of the Macarials. But you know what? At this point, even if the Bargus goes down, I think it's too late. Both of these Macarials, a Fleet Hurricane and a Moa, is not enough to break what Volta has here. This Bargus is just slowly chipping away, but the fact that Volta has their Logi and Villore does not, the longer this match goes on, the better it's going to be.
And Villore just lost their Hound recently, so even if they do break this Bargus, which it looks like they'll do, they're going to have so much trouble breaking any of the major ships on Volta. Volta still has their core. Villore only has 4 ships left. We're starting to see E-War apply so that they can't actually assist each other. I think it's just a really strong team that Volta has brought against a really weak setup. Walk us through a little bit more why Macarials aren't that great of a ship this late in the tournament.
So Macarials can net you wins for sure, without a question. The only issue is when you look at a Macarials damage profile, especially after the TE nerf and using autocannons, they do have selectable damage, which is nice, but the damage starts falling off once you hit 30 to 40 kilometers. And when you're looking at ships like the Bargus that can sit 70 to 80 kilometers away, and hit you for full damage, those Macarials aren't looking too great. They are very fast, yes, but Macarials generally don't like to be close to ships, although these Macarials have grapplers on them, but they're shield fit. So kind of interesting, at least fitting-wise from the Macarials. They've been held down by the Flycatcher of Marchinus the entire time, and one of them has completely not been able to move. The other one's webbed very nicely by TikTok. And like I said, these small ships, these Hyenas, Mystical Might and TikTok early on, allowing the Bargus to apply their damage, allowing them to pick apart the entire support wing, basically make a killing field of Villore Accords, basically just leaves these 2 Macarials and Fleet Hurricane sitting without a prayer.
Yeah, and another issue is that the Macarial costs 21 points, right? So it's the most expensive ship you can possibly bring, and I think that for the point value that it brings, you just have much better ships to choose from if you're going to go for either armor or for shield. You can get a lot more utility out of the mid slots from an armor Macarial and just another armor ship, and shield doesn't do too well, doesn't have a great tank, and you only have the 1 utility high slot.
Yeah, I think the only ship right now that can chase or do anything is the Fleet Hurricane, which is falling apart fairly quickly. But after that, the Macarials, which are both scrammed and webbed and completely held down by the Flycatchers, by the Jackdaws once they get under, and they're being held up by the scimitars, the rest of the Volta team is going to have a really nice time just sitting at range and just slowly killing them with DPS, which is what they're doing to the Fleet Hurricane right now. And basically, it's going to be wrapped up end of the match. I think between this fight, what we're seeing here is a completely different understanding of the meta. The fact that Volta is bringing those nice missile battleships that we're seeing, they have all of the support that you want. You'll notice that a better team comps generally shy away from not just having just straight bombers in their support wing. Look at what Volta brought. Double Hyena, double Jackdaw, Caracal, Flycatcher. Very aggressive, trying to kill bombers, being able to go in there and aggressively get webs, and light missiles apply when you add all of that together to Logi very well, and it can be very, very painful, especially when you think about the two heavy missile battleships shooting them as well. What do you think is Villore's side? Like, what do you think they could have done, at least with their comp, with the Macarial background? Could they have brought a different composition, or do you think Macarials in general just kind of spelled doom to it, Mod?
I think Macarials kind of tell kind of an inherent level of theory crafting that's not awful, but when you come to the final 8 of the winners bracket, it's just not enough, right? There might not be a bad team. Villore Cords is definitely better than a lot of other teams that they've gone up against, and that's why they're here after all. But Volta is just on a different level right now, and one of the things that I'm really liking out of them is that they've chosen to bring a Noxus for a battle cruiser, and it gives you a lot of options in terms of links. Walk us through that one a bit more.
So you'll notice a lot of teams that are, fairly deep and fleshed out, not only in piloting but in theory crafting. They have a lot of the same things. So you notice in the match past with PL and NC, and now here with Volta, they have a Logi, a Tech 2 logistics cruiser. Maybe they might switch for a different Logi, but generally they're going to have that. They're definitely going to have links. And now they're not just going to have links thrown on top of a Fleet Hurricane or a single, 1 to 2 links. No. They're going to have a full, fleshed out link suite in order to boost their team comp. So that's why they have a Gnosis. That's why you have a Prophecy, a Cyclone, ships like that. While Villore, while they do have the Scimitar, they're still missing out a good rounding out of their fleet comp. Like MOAs, for example. Blaster MOAs, are they tanky? Yes, but they're very slow. They don't do a lot of damage.
And they have a lot of trouble actually closing to range to
and they have no ability,
damage.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to apply it to anything they want to be shooting, which is the support wing, which is never going to get caught by them in the first place. So you look at some of these ship choices and you think, well, for the same amount of points, I could have gotten a Caracal. And I like a Caracal a lot more. A Caracal isn't going to run in there and screen something, no, but it can also be a very dangerous threat to not only your Logi cruiser, but any light ships, crew oars, which are very heavy in the meta, flycatchers, all of those important ships. So I guess when I just look at team compositions, I look for the triad of things: a nice backbone, a Logi with links. Anything that I'm missing? Anything that you generally look for?
I think it's not so much a bad choice, it's a less efficient choice, and I think that's really showing. Volta is going to take this one. They're going to then be playing, I believe, the winner of Tuskers, or no, it would be... Who are they playing, actually?
I'm not sure. I'd have to take a look at the schedule.
But yeah, Volta has secured that. Congratulations to them. Villore Cords makes top 16, and they will fall down to the losers bracket.